Thank you very much, and just want to say to AAA, and to all of you, I was the first recipient of AAA funds, so I owe. And like all my life, I never forget where I came from, nor do I forget who's been helpful. And in this body here, there are the divas, we call them, the divas, the Clinton administration, the women and men who were the eyes and ears and the faces of our communities in that administration. And without them, I think that a lot of the guidance that I have had over the last few years, I would have not been as successful without them. While I'm saying that, let me just point out to my staff, would my staff just raise their hands, and those are the folks you want to go to, and make sure that if there's anything that you need. And they understand what our community is all about. In fact, sometimes I think they're more Asian than I am, but that's cool too. Well, I want to welcome all of you here, but I also want to say something about Colorado. In 1942, when they have taken the Japanese American communities out of the West Coast, every place was very unfriendly except for the governor of Colorado, Governor Carr. He said, "We shall open up our arms in this state to invite them in to come here." And so, just wanted to have us understand our Asian American history and those who are our friends in the past, because at that time, political leadership was sorely lacking, but except for him. Because of his position, he lost his bid for re-election, but we just want to let the Coloradans know that we have not forgotten. We come from all parts of the country, as far away as from Guam, Beijing, Japan, and the East Coast, and from some of the islands also. So our diversity is our strength, and we need to make sure that the diversity that does exist here, that we look among ourselves and marvel at the diversity that we do have here, that it is not just a word, but it is in fact expressed in our presence here, and that we recognize the kinds of resources that we come with, that we represent through our communities. And to our young elected, I say young, because they don't have any white hair yet. And they have hair still too. But I just want to make sure that we, make sure that we support those who are elected, those who are thinking of running, because it is not the easiest thing to do. And also, let's marvel at the presence of so many of us. If you took 1/4 of this room, that would have been last convention. You take half of that, that would have been the convention before that. And so the very first convention I went to back in '96, I was kind of looking around, and I felt like Nemo, and today we're here in numbers. We're here as a presence, because every one of you took the time to make that effort. And to Hank, thank you for throwing your hat in, because that district certainly needs somebody else than Tancredo. Actually, Tancredo is the exact opposite of what you are, what we all are. We're about nurturing and inclusion. He's about isolation and excluding. He didn't get it that, building a wall between countries to keep people out did not work. I think there's a big wall in China. It didn't work. And so I think that we can be smarter, and we are smarter. And we have common sense, and we have a wonderful history of understanding what oppression is and social oppression is. And we bring all those things together so that we can convert our own experience into public policy and make the best ones that we can. It's It's no accident that first generation folks who are here, like Mimoa, who represent a Hmong community, are in elected office. You know, it was done and was done on purpose. And I want us to understand that we did it on purpose. This was no accident. Just like the candidates we had in the Democratic Party, when they whittled down to 4, you had a Latino, an African American, a woman, and a white guy. And the white guy grew up poorer than the other 3. And so, you know, we understand what it means when we come to a point of maturity that we can select somebody of our own that looks like this country. Now we have Joe Biden, half and half and chai. It's a joke, you guys. You got a white hair, white guy that represents something that people say that Obama is not. So you got a combination. And just think about this. This is the power of our presence and our activity. And this is the power of our investment in this body politics. And this is the vision. Summertime in the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, seeing a hapa child run across the lawn. Just picture that. You know, a child, you know, who comes from Barack's family, and his sister, and his brother-in-law, and that family get-together, it's not going to look like Texas barbecue. It's going to look like what we understand a family barbecue looks like. Can you imagine what a White House barbecue can look like? Sushi, sashimi, dim sum, pancit, you know? It'll be different. And it's about time, and again, we did it on purpose. Nothing happened by accident. And so this whole idea of unity, and the job that we have as Asian Americans in our battleground states, I think Betsy will talk a little bit more about that, in identifying the battleground states. But remember this, the past 3 elections was won by a fraction of a percentage point. We are that fraction of a percentage point. We can make a difference, as it was proven in Virginia. As Raj Goyal had proven when he ran for assembly in a Republican district, door to door, worked hard, presented himself, and made sure people understood who he was. Who's from Wichita, Kansas? Raise your hand. Okay, thank you for being here. And that happens in Iowa. There's a Jay Goyal. I don't know if he's here, but he did the same thing in Iowa. And Ohio, sorry. I'll get it straight yet. Ohio Gazemas. He knew it was coming. And the kinds of things that we understand is hard work, but the idea of taking back Congress with the API vote, it means the family sticks together. It means that if we had supported someone fantastic like Hillary Clinton, you know, she says it's time to come together as a family. We cannot afford not to be together when we leave this convention. We cannot afford to show people that this family is not united. I grew up in Chicago. My father caught me fighting with my brother. He walked right past me. We got scared. My father didn't recognize us. He kept walking and we started crying. He turned around and said, I don't know who you guys are. And we started crying even harder. He says, brothers do not fight with each other in public. When you do that, people can tell that they can tear you apart. So this is our message. We have to hang together and make sure that this family is united behind Obama and Biden for the things that we care about. Comprehensive immigration reform. So, we are the most critical swing votes to help electing Barack Obama and Joe Biden and making things happen in 1600 Pennsylvania.